And remember, we're not a ruminant animal. Just like you said, we're not a cow. We're not a deer that can break down grass because our stomachs are built differently. I know there's a big argument out there about fiber, and I'm not saying don't eat no fiber, but I think that we can't eat as much fiber as an animal that is made to eat grass. I mean, we just can't, and that's going to cause bloating. It's going to bring water into our intestinal tract, and it's going to cause a lot of bloating because we can't literally digest it. We literally cannot digest plant-based fiber, which is cellulose. It is undigestible by us. Cows can do it, and cows can assimilate the nutrients because they have the special ruminant. And actually what that is they have special bacteria in their gut that actually help to break down that cellulose product, which is also known as undigestible fiber. So that's why, we can't break it down, and really animal-based protein is the best way for us to get nutrients, period. I will stress that over and over again. And it is not dangerous. It does not cause heart attacks. Let's just be rational about it. If it did, just think about it. What did our ancestors eat? Our ancestors didn't mostly eat plants. You tell me a culture that survived on plants alone. I'm waiting.
Right.
I mean, seriously. Now, I will tell you cultures that survived on mostly animal-based products. Look at anybody in northern latitudes. Scandinavians, yeah, they had potatoes too in the summer. But you look at Eskimos, the Inuit population. Did they have a lot of greens? Did they have a lot of salad? Did they have a lot of spinach? Probably not, if any. My wife would argue, who's much smarter than me, she would argue that they did because of trading, that there was somebody that probably traded with them and gave them some kind of plants or fruits. Mostly whale blubber, seal blubber, fish, and they would also kill, caribou, whatever, moose, whatever is up there in the north, and focus on mostly meat because that's what they had. They didn't have, one of the disadvantages of what's happened over the last 100 years is that we have mass transportation. So you can have an apple in northern Alaska any time of the year, or spinach for that matter. That used to not happen. And, refrigeration, you couldn't store it. You had to eat the plants you picked that day and ate that day, or mostly, or maybe within a few days, or they would spoil. So, right?
100%. Oh, the wheels are just turning because you were saying all of the things that are just so important for people to hear. I mean, I always tell my clients, your granny wasn't out foraging for no kale, right? Like that wasn't calorically expedient, wasn't nutrient dense food. So, I mean, just naturally, it's not like no one had the internet, no one had like books on nutrition 300 years ago, 200 years ago, but people just inherently knew what gave them energy, what made their digestion sharp, what made them feel good, what fed their children well. And, you, Shawn, just referencing, the traditional cultures, right? I'm sure you talked about ad nauseum, the work of Dr. Weston A. Price, where he realized going over from culture to culture around the globe, right? So not just like everywhere, latitudinal, longitudinal, we're talking Swiss Alps, we're talking equatorial, islands, and really the crux, the main thing that he found from a nutrient standpoint was that every traditional society, untouched by what he calls white man's diet, subsisted on animal products. That was the backbone of their diet. So yes, plants were brought in as almost like an accoutrement, like it was like a relish, but it wasn't the backbone of traditional society's diet. So, we look around and just see how sick and unwell everyone is. And we can definitely, like, if you just think about things in their most reductionistic, simple terms, like what are we putting into our bodies? I'm not saying that plants are bad. Please do not hear me say that. I eat plants regularly. However, it's definitely, not the backbone of a healthy diet, especially as you brought in just the beginning of this quick discussion here. If you're struggling with bloating, you cannot break down that indigestible fiber.